Thanks for inviting us on this task and giving me the opportunity to interact with such an eminent panel. I see IT, tech, and cyber leaders sitting next to me. So we'll try to make it more interactive and knowledgeful for each one of us. I'll see how we can make it more meaningful for you all. You are out of your office, spending your day with all of us. Let's see how we can make it more important, more knowledgeable, and learning experience. This is an open forum. We'll be happy to take some queries at the later fag end. The topic is interesting. It says innovating for future. And innovating for future, as we listened to the previous panel also, fairly related. And innovation can be in any shape and form. Whatever makes betterment or whatever make easy for everybody's life, a simple step which creates some change, some betterment for anybody's life can be considered as an innovation. That's the simple start I would like to take up. With my eminent panel, I would like to understand from their point of view, probably, Vijay sir, before we jump into innovation, how do you see the role of technology driving this kind of innovation? The future, change, where do we see it? And we all know transformation is the key of success. So with that background, how do you see technology taking it up?
Hello. Good afternoon. I did not see much enthusiasm of your welcoming because being a post-lunch session, this is quite expected. So now we are discussing a topic which is very, like a buzzword, innovation. So he rightly pointed out that innovation is something which makes your life easier than before. I mean, whatever we are doing now, it should become slightly more easier, slightly better, or for the business, it should either earn more money or it should reduce the cost. That means enhances the profit. Innovation for innovation's sake is generally limited to academic domain, where we say R&D is being done or innovative techniques are being developed, etc., for academic purposes. But as we move into business, generally innovation is encouraged only in the areas where the business sees value. Whether it is technical innovation or whether it is process innovation or even a people innovation. People innovation means if you can make the work faster or the same person more productive, it is an innovation. So to that extent, I understand that that innovative streak is slightly low in the PSU sector, this being a PSU forum, lower, because we generally go for a technology which is tried and tested, and of course the cheapest as well. So in that sense, we are slightly anti-innovation, because for innovation to happen in any domain, some sort of risk-taking is a must. Because not everything is successful, every R&D is successful, or every project or POC is successful, and it also needs money. People process technology for even innovations cannot happen in a vacuum. It needs money, it needs support, and support from the top, because if somebody is breathing down your neck, isko jaldi karo, to innovative thoughts need time to come. They need some free time, some me time, where people can think over the shortcomings of the existing process and then devise something new. So that's the first thought from my side.
Colonel Lok? You want to add on this?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And before I add on anything to the what has already been said by Sir, first a disclaimer that all thoughts expressed are personal. They do not relate in any way to any organizations that have served in the past or in present. And second, thanks to the organizers for giving us this platform to share my thoughts. Innovations, per se, if you ask me, they necessity was the mother of invention, so there has to be something matching for innovations. And I think shortcut is the necessity for innovation, because if you want to do a thing fast in a different manner and still be optimum with all your resources, I think that is where innovation falls, actually falls in. Role of technology has been a very important in the innovations that we see nowadays, and therefore perforce the complete C pool of TO, ISO, and IO become important in innovating as well as absorbing innovations. So that much for the thought of importance of innovations. Now, as far as the ecosystem in the government is concerned, it has already been brought out by Sir that we're slightly risk-averse people who actually play for sureties, assured outcomes. And not surprising, because the kind of services that people in government is citizen-centric service delivery. You can't have, and in today's age and time where there is a Facebook and an Instagram and a Twitter on everybody's thumbnails, tweeting to just put out something which has gone wrong, you have to actually cover yourself for the risks that you create by going out of your way. Notwithstanding, last decade, lot of innovations has been propelled by the government and the PSU environment itself. The very thought of Digital India has brought in a revolution, the 9 pillars. Citizen-centric services using Digital India has forced government, PSU to change their thinking. And the minute you absorb, one is translation of a business into automation, and other is business process re-engineering forced because of innovative approach and adoption of technology. So that, in that space, lot of work has gone in. And with the kind of technology landscape that is available today. So there is it's a coincidence that you have a huge bouquet of technology landscape, emerging technology landscape, as well as a user requirement and a fan base which needs to be supported by that. So that way innovation is the way forward, and there's no other way that you can probably survive. So that much for my initial thoughts.
So tweaking technology to go back to the traditional ways, being what we are, and still leveraging technology to the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I understand. Risk averseness and stability is something important. Paksha, your point of view on this?
Good afternoon, all. See, as a human, we know it always resist change. Unless there is need, unless there is some requirement or some lever or something, you cannot, they don't want to change. Like when you say innovation, in normal circumstances, probably rate of innovation during COVID was probably the most, you can say, in terms of digitalization of organizations. Because we are thinking, working from anywhere, anytime, all those concepts were being thought for last, that period, 2-3 years, but overnight, probably 1 week, everybody become digital, everybody VPN come in, everybody is able to work from the, that was innovation. Like the requirement was such, unless there is requirement or push. And in an organization, if I say if innovation, how it comes, it doesn't come bottom-top approach. It has to be top-down. Unless, this has to be disruptive. Most of the things, unless you put disruptive technology or disruptive thoughts, it will not happen. Like I can say, for example, if you say we will not use paper for our communication, it will be only digital, there is no paper. If you say less paper, probably that will not have that innovation, because people will say, okay, we will manage. Gradually, things doesn't happen. When you say there is no paper from this date, probably things will go that way. Now, innovation, when we say how innovation will help, yes, this innovation will help because you will get new technologies, new ideas, this thing. But in PSU, their adoption, as your predecessors speakers told, the adoption rate is low because once you take up a technology, at least 5 to 6 years you have to use generally. Then you think change. And it becomes difficult for abrupt changes. So innovation is required to sustain the same activities with less investment. So innovation is the way forward. Thank you.
I fairly agree with you, sir. Probably COVID, known as the best CTO across the globe, it made us change, learn, unlearn, so many new things. I'll move to my next panelist. Just want to add a bit to this. How do you think the emerging technologies are helping building the strategies, improving processes, or enhancing processes to our need within the business?
I'll answer to this question in my second part.
Okay.
But first I will talk about the innovation. See, change is inevitable. Changes will come in the society. And we have to embrace change. And suppose if we don't embrace change, we'll miss the race basically, because a lot of new innovations and technologies are coming every time. So I belong to an organization. I'm from an oil refinery where we have a very good system of innovation. It's called NL Ideation. There's a website you can see wherein we promote a lot of startups and also our own employees. So last year we spent around 6 crores of rupees for funding those startups, and a lot of new innovative products have come. And this year one good thing is happening because, see, once we have an ecosystem, but to drive that ecosystem, we need to give flexibility to the employees. So we have recently one circular our company has bought out. So any employee voluntarily can opt out for innovation actually. So he will be in the payroll, but he can take a leave for a period of 1 to 2 years. He can do incubation, he can do development. So that ecosystem we have. And it is flourishing actually. Some good innovations have come and they are doing good. And the value of the companies have increased, and subsequently a lot of indirect employment has also been there. So we have to support innovation because that's the way forward. And regarding new technologies, since my field is from cybersecurity, so everyone is aware of cyber attacks and all those kind of things. So currently new technologies as a SOC, if we talk about SOC, a lot of new products are there. Today, in fact, I was in an event where a lot of Indian startups are there, and a lot of Indian security products have also come on the market. So maybe we have some detailed question in my subsequently. So
we'll dwell on that.
About it in details.
We'll surely dwell on that, but I really like the way you said nurturing the talent and finding new talent to create new innovations. That's a new aspect. So how you think, sir? Probably on the same topic, let's cover this base for the future of innovation.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I apologize for being late in the stairs. There was a lot of traffic, in fact. Actually, when we talk about innovation, I personally believe, obviously, innovations are always driven by young minds. So in an organization, how much you promote innovation really depends on how much young your organization is. I am not talking about age, but possibly I am talking about the mindset, I am talking about the culture you imbibe in that organization and how much you promote the young minds to basically come up with innovative ideas. You keep the environment open for them to share their ideas. And then finally, obviously, you need to have a policy and a driving force which will channelize those innovations for the benefit of the organization and obviously the ecosystem at large. Now, in my organization in Grid India, obviously, like sir has told, we are also, and it basically depends on a lot of tie-ups with the academia. How the organization is focusing and basically having tie-ups with academia, how it is promoting collaboration with academia is very important. We have a lot of R&Ds, we do a lot of R&Ds with most of the premier Indian institutes. We also go for a PPSA award. I think many of you know that. We try to promote a lot of innovations. Our organizational average age is very low. That's why that also really helps us in promoting innovation. But I would like also to put one statement over here. At times, possibly, innovations, at times we we overdo with innovation. Means innovation should not be just for the sake of innovation or just for the sake of doing something new. We need to be very balanced in an approach that it should come out from the core need or the necessity and to solve the problem. We should be very clear on the problem statement when we are talking about innovation. Any problem statement can be solved with various different approaches, and maybe an innovative approach is always welcome. But that does not mean that I just go on doing something, some R&D project, something more, and something more, just without understanding my problem statement or how effectively that will basically impact my business continuity, my business, or the ecosystem at large. So many times that's why we need to basically channelize the young brains to basically restrict maybe their thoughts so that we can go in the right direction for the innovation, and that at times maybe some of the young brains think that the organization is not promoting innovation. That's not the right way to think. It's a very collaborative approach where maybe the senior management of the organization who has a larger vision of the entire requirement can channelize your innovative brain to give a solution which will help the organization to grow at large. That is more important. Thank you.
So keeping it simple is not silly. It's more important these days.
Exactly.
So I'm actually a little biased with one of the associate partners on this group. So it says 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃. They're doing a lot of innovations for so many PSUs where we can make life simpler for so many people across the country. 22 languages, so many automated bots. But as we speak about innovation, I come across one thing which is called resilience. While we are doing innovation, don't we think that we are somewhere losing the bit of resilience and not making it or not validating it, whether it will work or not? Yes, sir. What do you say?
Yeah. You touched upon a very, very important topic, which is very close to my job and heart also. Is that innovation is good, but we have to segregate innovation from R&D. The academic R&D is going into an uncharted area where you are trying to find something useful out of what has not been done earlier. Innovation is a smaller step where already something was being done and you are trying to do is better. In that context, 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃 is a very, very important and very, very critical innovation where all the government departments need to, who have all India, pan-India operations, need to give their services in multiple languages. And then everybody we were doing in railways, we were doing databases of all languages in names, numbers, station names, etc., etc. So it was a huge work. It was failing a lot of times. But now with the 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 APIs, we are able to do it dynamically. So we can call it a on-the-go innovation, where even a new sentence can be given to 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 and we get the all 22 languages accurate, nearly accurate results, which we are able to get to the people. So it's a very important innovation. But then the resilience part comes in. How good those APIs are scaling, because sometimes in the season, the queries go very, very high. Similarly, we have integrated this 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃 with our Rail Madad application, because people complaining or people asking for help and the people providing that help, they may not be of the same linguistic background. So that needs a changeover. So there we need to have a dynamically scaling connectivity with 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗃, or we may have to design a system where we change the we store the frequently used phrases in our database and use them in our peak times. So these kind of I will not say innovation, but these kind of steps towards resilience has to be kept in mind, because however good service you might be giving, innovative service, etc., but if it does not scale, or if it does not come back after a failure quickly enough, then the lashing you get from the citizens is very, very heavy. And with these days of social media innovations, the complaints reach the top very, very fast. So that is also maybe an innovation provided by our social media.
With such an active population, I think we do not leave any stone unturned when we get such an opportunity.
I will give you an example here. People, our many apps, I will not name them, where you can know the position of the train moving from station to station, etc. But people will compare it with their Google crowdsourcing and put the image, both the image, comparative images, and send it to the Twitter handle of our ministry or even the minister, if the person is powerful enough. So, and then we get the, hammering. But it was an innovation. We never provided this information of a train moving station to station because it was not found much useful for the people. But now in the times of social media, we have to provide it because people are getting it from other places anyways.
But that actually touches upon the way we are connecting railways to so many food service providers and other vendors. It's creating jobs, creating availability of different kind of food while we are on the run.
And we are creating privacy hazards as well. So, of course, this was not his intention to bring the cybersecurity privacy into the conversation, but resilience also includes resilience without leakage of data, or without loss of data, without loss of privacy of the people, because many of the traveling people, they do not want their travel details to be divulged to public at large.
True.
Which obviously happens, because in the kind of systems we run and kind of scaling we need, it is very difficult to segregate who needs, who has given consent, who has not given consent, etc., etc. It's a difficult task.
True. Scaling is important, especially for the APIs we are using, especially for the infrastructure we are building, and that too at the speed, which is because the demand is changing. Our data consumption 5 years back was 1/10 to what we are doing now. And in rural India, it is more. They're consuming more data. So, Alok, how do you think? Should we carry on the resilience aspect, or you want to touch upon privacy? Because both are very close to Indian citizen. We want the services on the go. We want the services available every time. And we don't want things to be shared. Though we share our every information on the road.
Again, I don't know where to start from, especially when you put innovation against privacy, pitch both of them together. But let me start from resilience first.
Okay.
When I talk of innovation, it is in a particular context, and the resilience has to be within the ambit of that context, within that time frame. If it has served its purpose, thereafter resilience of that innovation is no longer required, to be very honest. A classic example, and often I have had this discussion with at least my academic friend, my ISB profs who were there, who always talked of growth mindset, innovative approach, then an acceptance of culture of acceptance of innovation. Of the three, I always found the third one which made sense, that there is a culture where innovations are accepted. The other two actually do not matter, and life of pi is a classic example. Throw a man on a boat on a sea with a lion. He'll find a way to find an innovative way to survive from the lion and feed from the sea, even if he doesn't know how to feed it. And that resilience portion is only required till the time he finds the next boat where both of them can be segregated.
True.
So that is where, and as far as now coming to the innovation part of it, again, some are born great, some become great, and some have greatness thirst upon them. So again, drawing the analogy from life of pi, he became an innovator because of it was thirst upon them. So it is not, when you start doing innovations for the sake of, and let me be slightly blunt over here, projection, नंबर कमाने के लिए जब आप इनोवेशन करने लगते हैं, then that innovation is of no use, because it is a short time, short-sighted, short gain approach. If there is a genuine need, put an organization, any organization, and any organization, I mean any organization, the smallest or the biggest, put an organization who has the will to survive under resource crunch, with any kind of people, they will come up with innovative ways to survive. So that much for the resilience part of innovation. Now to bring it back to the technology part of it, where we are talking in terms of trading it off with privacy and data, and today the latest buzzword being data is an essential bedrock for innovation. Because if you don't have data, where do you find your analytics from and which part to go? Data has become the new eye. If you don't have, you don't know where to go, you're blinded. So if I have to trade it off with privacy, I think privacy has got overhyped now.
Mm-hmm.
There are contours, even when all of us were studying, and those of us who were science students will relate, that there are boundary conditions to every event. For everything, there are boundary conditions. The Ohm's law says V is equal to IR provided temperature and other constant remain constants. Privacy also has to have a boundary condition. We need to probably draw that boundary condition and scale it down to the level that it is required. And overhyping privacy in any case is not doing good, not only for innovation, for R&D also. So we need to trade that off over there. I think that is my call with respect to privacy.
Privacy component, yeah. I think we do have laws now, which probably, while the law doesn't speak about privacy anywhere, but it is benchmarked as DPDP, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act.
You have crusaders who interpret. So basically it is, at the end of the day, business has to survive.
Yeah.
So what I say has to be interpreted by 10 different people in 10 different manners so that it suits their business case. And someone should be able to convince me to put it in that place that, okay, this is the, because all that is being pitched against a business case as a product or a solution pitched against it. So to move with that. But there, again, as I said, there has to be a boundary condition of privacy. There has to be a boundary condition for how much solutions are you going to pitch against for one solution, for one problem. That is also a challenge there.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. We'll move to our next panelist. So taking a cue from this, how do you think we can plan and build or maybe deploy intelligent automation to some context to give a balance of innovation, use the existing technology, make it more resilient, and keep it simple? I'm just using the points gathered from this discussion.
Yes, actually automation is the key here, because automation will always improve the systems. But for the automation to happen, the first thing is you have to simplify your process. First, you need to know what exactly you do. The incremental improvisation may not work. You have to think out of the box. Then once you know, yes, this is the result, then, but if you are doing something and improvisation of that to reach there may not help. It has to start from scratch, out of box thinking, probably get outside of your department, outside, who has no relationship to that problem. Probably they can only give out of the box, because whoever is part of the team will never think outside the box. So that is one approach when to solve a problem. Suppose you want to automate something or do something. Somebody from outside will come, do you really require this thing? This will come down to this. Now people will think, yes, probably we don't require this. This thing can be implemented somewhere in other process where it is already part of that, or this is, we can do away with this. Now this type of out-of-box thinking, we can innovate. And this, when we say automate, particularly I am from power sector, I am from NTPC. Now in our case, automation are going on constantly. If you say there are OEM, actually main thing is there has to be technology or equipment manufacturers or solutions. If there are solutions, there has to be solutions. See, everybody, even if we think we can innovate, we can at best innovate in some process or use something which will improve some sort of process. But end to end, we have to depend on OEM or other manufacturers and our academics for the R&D part and technology partners for giving us the solutions. Now, to that extent, there is already ecosystem. Government is also encouraging ecosystem. Like you will all be aware, 𝗖ście 𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃, that is hackathon. Government of India has done 𝗖ście 𝗿𝗃𝗃𝗃. That thing, they asked problems from each industry. In industry means yes, from industry they asked for problems so that it will be given to all participants to solve them, and it carries prize money also. So that type of innovative ecosystem. Now you can say startups, there are many startups and most of them are doing good. So innovation and particularly in PSU space, it is most important, because in PSU this can be driven more or less, even from government side, if there is directive, yes, you have to adopt these things or promote these things. Probably PSUs cannot have much leeway in saying no. So that way, implementation or making the ecosystem for this innovation is very much helpful for PSUs. Thank you.
So I certainly agree with you. Adding public-private partnership, and yes, every public sector unit got their own challenges, their own customers to serve, and things to keep simple.
Yeah, public-private partnership, that is a good idea. Even we are giving this thing. Suppose spare parts we are importing. Now there are old machines where you have to develop this, you have to develop partners for so that they can do it. First handhold them, give them details, give them financial, technical support if they require, even testing bed, because they will not have testing bed. You have to provide them a test bed to support them. Once they, all details you have to provide, they will make parts for you. Then you save foreign currency, and you have expertise inside also. So that is the private public partnership. Actually, that is what we are, most PSU does that. That is a government directive. That is a government guideline. You have to promote Make in India. And these things are actually not Make in India, you can say, because this is out of our requirement. Government or otherwise, because we require those spare parts. Those spare parts are not available from imported. There is some problem. Now you have to develop it yourself. You cannot do it. You have to give it some agencies who can do it for you. So that is the way it goes.
So Make in India to make for India. Yeah. So probably I'll flip the coin. Since you mentioned about security operation threat management in your last message, how do you think adoption of modern age AI tools can bring resilience to the modern age threats we are seeing on a day-to-day basis? Since you've got automated SOC, what do you think we are leading to?
Actually, hello. Actually, most of the security products these days has a AI engine running behind actually. So AI is kind of a future technology. Not future, it is already in use actually. We need to embrace it, and most of the security products will have a AI engine bundled to it. Like for example, there are a lot of threat actors actually. So what is happening these days when there's a threat across the globe? So the threats are getting collected to a centralized, system. And on top of that, they will also analyze the endpoints. Endpoints are basically in a network when the people, the employees, they're using their laptops or desktops, those are called endpoints. So they will do a behavioral analysis actually. And they will collate both the things. Then your user behavior will be captured. Basically, if suppose one user is, lot of traffic is going out from a particular user, it means someone is sending lot of data from that to external that thing. So normally a snapshot of that particular user is already maintained actually these days. So most of the systems as a AI, what they will do, they will profile the users. So what is my work schedule? I work from 9:30, 5:30. This many kind of data I download or upload. And subsequently, if something drastic is happening from my endpoint, lot of data is either downloaded or going out, then it will trigger an alert to the, the analyst basically. So these are some of the AI engines actually that's working. And when we are talking about automation, I just want to say a small thing actually. There's something called cobots. There's a robot everyone knows, but cobot is something which is on a lower, dimension than cobot. Basically, it works with a human being. So that kind of technology also we have put in because we are a refinery, we are making also one of our, apart from the petroleum products, one of our products is wax. So these days wax is in huge demand, mainly for making very luxury and exotic candles. That is a common thing, it's available across everywhere. We are the largest producer of wax in the country. On top of that, many people are not knowing, wax is also used in lot of food items and cosmetics and in the paint industry. So what is happening when the liquid wax is coming, it is in a molten state actually, it's very hot. Then it comes to a refrigeration unit and then the cobot used to slab it actually. It will slab it and then it will package it. So there what is happening, the calibration is an issue. So what is happening with that particular wax slab when we are packaging, sometimes we see, suppose one slab is supposed to weight 20 kilo, sometimes there is a variation. So those kind of lot of things are there. So in cobot also, like slowly now AI is coming. So we have not embraced AI in cobots, but that is the way forward basically. All security products will have an AI engine behind. That is a technology for the technology in the market. It's up to your budget, how you embrace it actually. Thank you.
So probably adoption of Gen AI could only be once we have large set of data available to analyze and reduce the errors.
But again, it depends on how you use it. See, I can show you example live also here. So you search a lot of in the, AI space, you will find many information is false actually. Many information is false. Because ultimately it is also learning from someone. If I teach a child a bad thing, he will learn a bad thing only. Something like that. If everything is good, he will learn good thing. That is how it is. So in a learning stage, it depends from where the data is being collected actually. So that's how it is actually.
I agree. The quality of data is very important when we move to the next. Yeah, and the biases. Probably I'll move to my last panelist for the same topic, automation, AI. Where do you think we are leveraging technology to move and how it is helping us?
Well, obviously, as all understand and all know, that AI is the next generation or this generation buzz, as well as AI is the thing which we need to embrace. It will move forward. It has a long horizon to go. Now, what are the way we can, or we in Grid India is leveraging AI and how it can help? I'll just try to give you a few examples. Few, obviously, from my domain, again, from the cybersecurity domain, few maybe from the system operation, the Grid India's role in business. One of the key area where we are using AI is forecasting. We need to do a lot of different type of forecasting, including the weather forecasting, including the demand forecasting. And basically, I mean, analyzing a huge lot of data through various computing technique and try to really get a very narrowed down figure of what type of behavioral change or the pattern change in those parameters can happen. AI gives a very, it's really giving a very good result. So we have tried to compare different AI engines with different type of forecasting. And as rightly mentioned, if I can really give you a very good quality of data, it gives a beautiful output. If you come to any of our control room any day, you'll find that we continuously monitor the forecast versus the actual, what is happening. And nowadays the percentage error is really narrowed down, is very low. Second, cybersecurity, as already told, the behavior analysis. So it's basically you create a pattern of a user or maybe a network component. So network behavior analysis or user behavior analysis. It's a very typical way you use AI to understand that whether the activity going on in your network, the activity going on through the endpoint are genuine, or there are certain chances of there is some suspect activity is going on. So there we basically profile each and individual user. So when you have a large base of user, there are activities are so varied. Like in Grid India, we have a control room. So there are plenty of users who are working 24/7 in different shifts. So their login, logout time in a month it varies depending on his shift duty. And there are general shift people whose login, logout time varies depending on their basically general shift pattern, leaves, etc. So they are really analyzing user and trying to identify whether a typical when a user is logged in, seeing the user is logged in, whether it's a standard normal behavior or it's an abnormal behavior from that user perspective. You need to give a very accurate data, but if you can give that type of a data, AI really give you a very good output. Heuristic analysis of malware. It's a very new technology where AI is being extensively used. And now basically you really cannot depend on only a signature-based malware detection techniques. So there obviously AI plays a beautiful role, and there are a lot of examples and a lot of tools you can now get for AI. Now, means how we can leverage that technology and AI. Gradually you will find basically even at your home nowadays you will find that the kids learning, they are using AI type of tools continuously. Now basically again I will try to put that same point of caution that any technology, any sort of advancement we are getting, it has both pros and cons. So how much basically we are utilizing that for the benefit of ours, and how much actually we are utilizing just for the sake of utilizing, or maybe which is basically somehow creating a problem. It may raise a problem in future, that we have to be very specific. Use of AI for this type of a behavior analysis is good. But nowadays you'll find in most of the organization, the younger people, suppose you give a report, or suppose a new regulation is coming, you give a report to a person and ask him, okay, you prepare a presentation on this. We normally give it to the younger people for them to study. Nowadays what they will do, they'll put that entire thing on maybe a Copilot or a ChatGPT and try to extract a report out of that and present it to me. So they are not studying it. So there is the again negative perspective of that. I'm not trying to highlight the negative perspective. That's important is when we are adopting technology, it's very important that how much, that the very right point which has been pointed out by Colonel Sir is the boundary conditions. We need to really define our boundary conditions, implement administrative control or policies based on that so that we can use the technology only for our benefit. That is more important. Thank you.
So I just want to continue one small point with you because I'm being cognizant of time. I want to complete it in this manner. You mentioned about behavioral analysis. And with social media, I think each one of us is being monitored. Somewhere, Uncle Sam knows what time I get up, what I eat, how I live, where I drive, where I go for vacations. And then we still are talking about keeping boundary about the largest personal data across the globe, that's in India. So how do you think technology or IT is going to help it, or maybe add to the business so that innovation keeps its essence, keep it simple?
Yeah, very, very, very tricky question. Very tricky question because it has both pros and cons. Because in one way, if I see from the perspective of the market, if I see from the perspective of all those startups, all those companies who want to try and sell their product, who want to give me a personalized advertisement, obviously these data help them a lot. Nowadays, you'll find again a AI tool. Nowadays, you'll find that suppose you are just trying to search a ticket in a Make My Trip sort of a website, then maybe for the next few days, wherever you log in, you'll find the different sort of information on that place, on the ticket prices, where you can go, where you can book taxi, on that same thing. So these are personalized type of information or advertisement. AI helps in doing that. And these information help you in doing that. But obviously, it basically undermines your privacy requirement. Now, the point is that, like many have said, that in DPDP, etc., when you say about getting a consent for sharing the personal information, all those things, digital personal information, that is from the perspective of the corporation, and how much utilized, how much those data will be utilized. Again, there could be certain boundary condition. But you know, the boundary condition, we always say as a security practitioner, we always say that basically security starts with you. Basically, there's a beautiful buzzword, what is in the center of security. If you split the word security, you'll find that at the center you have that letter U. So security, at the center of security, it is you. So how much will you share depends many a times, not every time, but many a times with you. You'll find a lot of people I have seen, even I'll just suppose today I am sitting over here, maybe in half an hour after that, or maybe after 15 minutes, there'll be a LinkedIn post saying, okay, I have attended this. You'll find Facebook post. Someone is sitting in a restaurant, a Facebook post, I am sitting in this restaurant. So basically, I am leaking my privacy first. It's not that the tools or the market is leaking my privacy. Some of this information are leaked and there should be strong regulation to protect that. But maybe you will find that my behavior or my inclination to expose myself in the social media basically increases my risk of leaking or getting my information leaked. So if I can really change or control that behavior, possibly many of this problem will be solved. And other than that, obviously there are you require a strict regulation, a regulatory framework to see that these private data are not exploited at least. It can be used for certain market analysis, it can be used for reaching you, but it should not be exploited. That is obviously a secondary challenge which requires a lot of deliberation. I don't think the time permits for that. Thank you.
Maybe your last, yeah, I'm coming to you only for your last thoughts about this topic.
It's my last part. For the information of the house, I would like to say, with great power comes great responsibility. It's a very kind of a common dialogue in a movie from Spider-Man. I usually, in my awareness session, I tell all the people. So the great power, what do you have? You have the mobile phone. It's like having the world in your fingertips. So you have great responsibility of using how you use your mobile. So you have to use it carefully. And by the way, I'm telling you, everyone is using mobile phone. The mobile is always hearing you and profiling you. Okay, so you should be careful where you keep your mobile phone. You just talk to a friend about buying a TV or a particular product. After half an hour, you will see advertisement coming to your profile. That's how it happens. So since we are all talking about technology, embracing technology, so with that, you have to use it responsibility in your own interest. Thank you.
Using it responsibly is important. So some of your last thoughts on this topic, sir. I'm just being cognizant of time and want to leave some minutes for the audience.
Right. When we say innovation, actually innovation, it is a very wide field. Like innovation by us we use innovative product or innovative service, or we foster an innovative ecosystem. Now this data and all, whenever we say this data actually, when you say we require data for innovation, actually this is not, I think this data can always be anonymized and used. You need not know exactly which person has done it. But when you anonymize, you still get the data, and you have anonymized this person. That means the person is not identifiable. The data is with you. Do all type of innovation, all type of analysis, everything, and still that identity of that person is not known. So that way things are improving. Actually, wherever this DPDP Act also more or less tells that you have to keep the data. If you want to keep it, encrypt it, anonymize it, or mask it, you have to use this data. And privacy to an extent is good. Privacy has to be there, but not at the cost of innovation. Thank you.
Again, I'll go contrary to the house. So, my take again, the answer lies in the word innovation. Innovation is, we are not looking at something new to be done, the same thing to be done in a different manner. As long as we are clear on the definition of innovation, it's par for me. Now coming next with respect to data-based innovations or technological innovations that we are looking at, and specifically when you're putting your focus towards data, so many conditions, notice and consent, you are looking at right to be forgotten, encrypting, store. Not everyone has this wherewithal to be managing it, and especially MSMEs, etc., and the new DPDP saying that 250 crore ka penalty laga dunga. I might as well shut my shop. Few things done right, I think they address the entire gamut of concern. One is focus on data localization, sovereignty, as long as, and third, I happen to be an admirer, I've served with him, an admirer of Mr. 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗃, Chairman TRAI. There was a lot of buzzword going around, Aadhaar ka data compromise ho gaya, aapka Aadhaar number nikal gaya. So he took out his own Aadhaar number and said, here is my Aadhaar number, kya karoge, aap kar lo. Do not overhype. We are equal stakeholders. I on the other side am to buy, you on the other side have to sell. Do not overhype a concern to sell a product. Finally, kuch hua nahi. If my Aadhaar number is there with you, one OTP has to come for a transaction, one OTP has to come here. If I'm talking of financial transaction. Any other transaction, there has a secondary verification, MFA, people call it very fondly, but there is a secondary alternative verification mechanism in place. So, you need to secure the business process rather than each element of the business. And each element of the business is generating so much data, you cannot probably address data sovereignty, data encryption, end-to-end data in transit, data in motion, all that kind of technical jargons that we throw at people. You cannot address all these concerns related to them. And finally, at what cost? The bottom line is, agar mujhe kuch service dena, it has to be viable. You have to be competitive to be providing a service. If I am not competitive for providing a service, the business will die on its own. You don't need anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. So, Vijay sir, your last thoughts on this topic. Probably then we can summarize and we can go back to the audience. I still see a counter now jump to 10 more minutes. Yeah.
The topic was constantly there, CTO, CISO and CIO strategies for enhancing PSU capability, innovating capabilities. So what I will say, something for the enterprise and something for our own sake, the community. In the enterprise, if the innovation has to survive, as all the panelists, my co-panelists have said, all the three roles have to work together, because the innovation is generally for the business. and it has to make money or save money or do something in shorter time, etc., for which CTO and CIOs are responsible. CIO is responsible for giving the data, for testing out that innovation, if it is a data-based innovation, etc. CTO is supposed to be giving them the technology or the platform or the lab or the budget. If we can add CFO also. पैसा भी देना पड़ेगा, बिना पैसे के तो कोई कुछ होता नहीं है. And CISO has to jump in and see that if that innovation, when it is implemented on the customer, then it should not hamper something, or it scales, it is resilient, it is not leaking data, etc., etc. So that is the innovation part. Now coming to innovation on our own mind. As a society, we Indians are a very conformist kind of society. I know I am saying a few things controversial. Please don't publicize it outside. We do not allow our children to question the parents, they question the teacher, question the grandparents and everything. Things are changing very fast. They see something on the TV or something on the mobile or something in the school and all that, and they ask questions. Why it is being done like this? Why it cannot be done like that? We simply say, नहीं ये ऐसे ही होता है, ऐसे ही करो, या ये देखना नहीं है, मत देखो. And he will go and look at it all the more. So this kind of societal conformance does not exist very much in the Western society, from where we have to learn this, that everything can be questioned, whether it is by teacher, by parents, by anyone. We do not question our CEO also and our seniors also. So this kind of environment does not foster any innovation. You have to question the status quo, then only the innovation comes. Then comes to the privacy part, the last this thing. There I almost echo his sentiment. Privacy is dead, particularly for the people who are the users of services, the poor people I will say, who do not have any option than to use the service given by the government or anyone. Because as you all know, DPDP Act most likely is going to exempt government service providers from all the privacy. 250 crore का जो वो है, ये सब कुछ लगेगा नहीं उनके ऊपर, because they are providing services and they are providing essential services, critical services. They cannot be hauled up in these. So if there is any lawyer in the room, I apologize to him. This whole DPDP Act का जो हंगामा शुरू किया है, अभी rules भी वो नहीं हुए हैं, but हंगामा जो शुरू किया है, training, this, that, segregation of data, etc., etc. Apart from stifling some innovation to some extent, it is only scaring people off. Actually, data which is available in the dark web and everywhere, it is not leaked. Most of the data is not leaked data. It is data which is the hackers have taken out. They have put it there. कोई खरीद ले तो कुछ पैसे मिल जाएंगे. Otherwise, because if you are not giving the ransom, which is the governmental norm, if we are not giving the ransom and getting your key back to protect the data is going to land up in the dark web anyways. Whether it is useful or not useful, they will try to make money out of it. So sometimes double extortion, etc. also happens. So going by all this, I feel that we should not take privacy too seriously as of now, particularly privacy of the poor citizen who is dependent on the service first. He doesn't think about privacy and all that. Privacy is somewhat of a हमारे लोगों के वो है कि कोई मेरा डेटा या मेरा पैसा ना निकल जाए. जिसके जनधन अकाउंट में पैसे ही नहीं है, उसको तो कौन क्या टारगेट करेगा या उसकी प्राइवेसी कौन ब्रेक करेगा?
So, summarizing, Kanalo, want to say?
Sorry, I'll take that privacy logic slightly further. Those of you who are very conscious about your privacy, I don't know. How many conscious people about privacy over here? Just a show of hand. Even one is good enough for me. Very good. Thank you.
You're stealing my question.
Sorry. Do you have an alternative digital persona on the digital ecosystem? Alternative digital persona of yourself on the digital ecosystem?
Yes, he will be having LinkedIn.
No, alternative digital persona, I'm sorry. Everywhere that you, on LinkedIn, what is the date of birth mentioned? Does it wish you happy birthday? It's the right date of birth, right date of birth, right year of birth. At least tweak the year of birth. That is all. सब कुछ रखो अपने जिस दिन बर्थडे है उसी दिन बर्थडे विश एक्सेप्ट करो, but at least year बदल दो, बुढ़े एक्स्ट्रा हो जाओ या जवान कर जाओ, but at least your alternative digital persona is then providing you limited protection. Small things, big saviors. So that's the first part with respect to the alternative digital. बाकी मैं later, sometime later.
Probably I was about to go to the audience. We still have 5 minutes as per the clock, though it's beyond the time window. But I'll be happy to take some of the queries. We have eminent panel from the tech. Yeah, we have one query back there. Yeah.
Someone can there mic.
Thank you for asking the question because मुझे लग रहा था सब सो गए.
Can we have mic there?
Can we have mic there? So by the time Mike moves to that end, I'll touch upon two things. I take it DPDPA from the context that it will create a buzz, or it has created a buzz to create one single truth about personal data each organization is carrying. So they know what is, where is, who is using it, how it is being used, so that they can put right controls, if not today, maybe later.
Absolutely, it is essential. If I'm
going to create a lot of business for the lawyers.
For sure.
If I'm
for
a data,
tech also.
If I'm a data fiduciary,
for
I
technology also.
I should provide those details. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃, Chief General Manager from Hindustan Petroleum, and a lot of thanks to the panel for sharing a lot of interesting insights on the informations and currently being used. And I was just looking at this topic. It talks about strategies for enhancing PSU capabilities, how this information and technology and information develops, augments the PSU capabilities. Probably I was trying to look into those areas which could have been, I thought may have been touched, because in being in oil and gas sector, I can see one of the panel members is from the oil and gas sectors. So there are a lot of things which is being done in the PSU right now, especially in the oil and gas. I can talk about like one technology, what you're talking about, that is a blockchain. There the information transparency, the flow of information is transparent to everybody, because when you're working in a PSU, right across the supply chain, everybody is aware what is happening, what is being done, and that information, as a Chief Information Officer and our IT team, we work together to ensure that it is being done properly, so it is being accessible to everyone. When you talk about, like in oil and gas, there is a lot of capex, a lot of infrastructure which happens. So those infrastructure monitoring and agility to respond to the queries, to respond to your information sought by various departments, you are all aware, ministries, departments, all those. Those things are very, very important when you, as a CTO and CISO, what is being done, how do you store information, whether it to be stored in cloud, whether it to be stored in-house. There the strategies played by the CTOs and CISO is very, very important, what I see in-house. Then when you talk about AI, talking about AI-based, yes, AI-based, IoT-based, a lot of things that we are working with our technology and CTO team, especially for the predictive maintenance and all those areas in our company to bring down those idle time of those machineries in the oil and gas sector. So technology, as a CTO, as a CISO, lot of opportunities are there to augment PSU performance, and a lot of things are being done right now. So I was thinking, because you have touched on many of the areas, I thought some of the areas can be also brought about what is happening now, because PSUs are doing a lot of activities are happening in the PSUs.
For sure.
Just to augment what you are saying, sir, and probably you're rightly searching for what you are searching for. One strategy that the technology, the C-suits, or technology people in the C-suit can probably adopt is reduce procurement life cycle than the technology life cycle. If you're able to do that, a lot of your problems will as it is go away, because technology life cycles are actually shrinking day by day. And with technology life cycle shrinking day by day, you always have this FOMO. कि ये technology आ गई, मैं miss कर गया. You mentioned blockchain. Half of the people would not even have started their journey with blockchain. So that FOMO with technology, and by the time they come up, that's a new technology awaiting in the queue and ecosystem. So if you're able to reduce your procurement life cycles lesser than the technology life cycle, I think that's the biggest contribution that you can do in the boardroom. Thank you.
In fact, that CPO, we have got central procurement, there also this transparency of information, faster procurement, exactly you touched about that point. That's very important in procurement.
Yeah,
And
so that's why I would just recommend one thing. I have attended few of these type of seminars as a speaker and as a delegate also. I think we need to loop in the people working in procurement and finance also. Normally we do, whenever we do seminars or workshops, etc., we keep technology separate and maybe finance workshops and all those things are separate. We need to amalgamate. We need to have people of finance and procurement people here, right here, sitting and trying to understand what are the problem statements, why we require procurement to be made faster, why we require this, say, life cycle of a product. Say, as per the financial rule, it is different, and as per the technology, it is different. We need to merge those. Why we need to require those things? So I would request the organizers, rather, maybe in future they can think of inviting few of the CFOs, etc., also in this panel, so that we can have those counter arguments also, and that will be, I believe, more productive.
What is actually talking of being in echo chambers. हम टेक्नोलॉजी वाले आपस में एक दूसरे को टेक्नोलॉजी और उसकी कंस्ट्रेंट और उसके प्रॉब्लम्स बता के बहुत खुश हैं. फाइनली एट द एंड ऑफ द डे थिंग्स डू नॉट. द सेकंड थिंग दैट इज आल्सो हैपनिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी पीपल एडिंग टू द प्रॉब्लम. इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट सॉल्यूशन, आई एम श्योर दैट रेड लाइट हैज कम अप. We are expanding the C-suite in our favor and fighting amongst ourselves. You had a CTO, you had a CIO, you have a CISO, now you have a DPO, and now you want CDPO, Chief Data Officer, Data Privacy Officer, and Chief Personal Officer. So you are increasing this entire, and all of them looking at the same cake. How much will you divide? You keep fighting and not contributing to the boardroom. So that's the next strategy that these people have to collaboratively evolve.
I just want to add, again, we need not, reinvent the wheel all the time. All of you can read on the internet. There is a project murder committee in Google. So it's a project by itself where, as you all know, that there is a time, as Sir has pointed out, there is a time given to each Google employee to invest up to 20% of their weekly work hours into something innovating in his domain, his or her domain. But when it goes to implementation or the POC stage, before that it goes to this murder committee. They ruthlessly murder the project, whether it is all the questions, whether it gives savings, whether it enhances customer satisfaction, whether it is viable, whether it is scalable, whether it is really innovative, or just for the sake of कि time pass करना है इसलिए कुछ ना कुछ एक नया program बना के दे दिया. All these things are seen by them, and the people are just these C-suite or below C-suite people who are in the members of that murder committee. So we can also think of having such committees in our organizations, and who should vet these innovations in all the parameters you decide, and risks of those innovations, because nothing is free of risks. So there may be risks introduced in the business. So unka sabka amalgamation karke, then the innovation should be, funded or scaled up.
So while
Can I take 1 minute? Only 1 minute. time's up. So I'll take 1 minute. When we're talking about the plant maintenance, predictive maintenance, we have done something because since we are a PSU only, I would like to tell that this technology already we are using. So we have got a lot of moving parts in the plant. So we have put a lot of sensors and we are getting the data to a common server, actually, common platform. And after collating all the vibration data, temperature and pressure data, and what we are doing, we are running some analytics. That's kind of a in-house kind of a query we are running. Now what is happening is that we know in advance, before the equipment fails, we know in advance that this particular equipment is going to fail and this part is going to fail. So my maintenance team already does an advanced procurement of the spares, and we can take a safe shutdown of the particular machinery, and so that the fire and accident doesn't happen. Because if a pump explodes, it will spill oil over and there will be fire. So ultimately, it has increased damage to the plant. It has increased, and it has reduced the cost on maintenance, and it's increased the plant safety.
Yeah, all have gone towards predictive maintenance now.
Yeah. Just paying cognizance of time, I think the topic is heating up. Energies are back in the room. I think lunch is over from the mind, but we're up with the time. It's an interesting discussion. We can keep on discussing about innovation, how technology can enable it, how people can chip in, create more awareness, make money available to new generation, learning new skills, but keeping it simple so that it solves some problem. And bringing back the entire C-suite to the table to make it more constructive. Thanks everyone for today, and thank you to each one of you. You've been amazing audience. Thank you.